outfought, outplayed, and they are out.
What a crash out. The USA exit their own World Cup despite having the president's help to get their star player on the pitch. Here, great health news for women and girls. New tests on the NHS are coming to help diagnose endometriosis quickly.
Knowing that women have got a better chance in our future, I think that's absolutely incredible, and I'm so excited.
And the hand of marriage. The couple who met at the Azteca when England last played there return to the stands.
Just going there, all the feelings came back, and I just started crying.
I started crying as well because it was such an emotional experience.
This is the ITV Lunchtime News with Nina Hossain.
Good afternoon. In the next half an hour, Prince Harry is set to discover the result of his High Court case against the publisher of the Daily Mail newspaper. Alongside the Duke, several high-profile figures, including Sir Elton John, Elizabeth Hurley and Baroness Doreen Lawrence, are taking action against Associated Newspapers. They accuse the publisher of phone hacking and obtaining private information through deception. Associated Newspapers strongly denies all wrongdoing and says its journalism is based on lawful sources and has described the allegations as preposterous. Prince Harry, the lead claimant, is said to be feeling positive. Our correspondent John Ray has been following the case. John, remind us what is at stake.
Well, Nina, some big reputations and big money as well. The costs of this case are already reckoned to be around £40 million. Now, coincidentally, of course, Prince Harry is actually in London this lunchtime. He is promoting his Invictus Games event, but it's here that he will, like the rest of us, find out this ruling. On top of those costs, there might as well, of course, be big damages to pay, but only if the claimants can convince the trial judge that the Daily Mail did indeed tap their phones, bug some of their houses, listen into their messages and use deception to gain intimate details of their private life. All those claims have been very strenuously fought by the Daily Mail and its associated titles during the course of a 10-week trial, which was at times emotive, always competitive. Tears flowed and tempers flared. Now, as you say, Prince Harry was the lead claimant. He was joined, though, by Sir Elton John, by his husband David Furnish, by the actors and celebrities Liz Hurley and Sadie Frost, by the former MP Sir Simon Hughes, but perhaps most significantly by Baroness Doreen Lawrence. Why? Well, because for years the Mail championed her campaign for justice to find the racist murderers of her son. She said in the court, though, that the Mail was prying on her private life, that she felt betrayed. That is absolutely strenuously fought by the Mail. Why? Because all of these cases go to the very heart of the credibility of the newspaper.
John, thank you, and we'll be back with John with an update a little later on in the programme. As he awaits the results of the case this lunchtime, Prince Harry is taking part in his first public event of his UK visit. He's at the Invictus Games Foundation Conference at Chatham House and will be giving a speech later today. Our royal editor, Chris Shipp, is there. Chris, Harry's mission to hold the tabloid media to account has caused somewhat of a rift within the royal family.
Yeah, you're right, Nina. It's one of many things that have caused a rift between Harry and the rest of his family, his father, his stepmother and his brother included. And it's my understanding, Nina, that when Harry went through those doors behind me about, half an hour ago, he'd already been told by his lawyer, David Sherborne, what the judge is going to tell the rest of us. at 2 o'clock. I only got to see the back of his head, so I didn't see from his face whether he was angry or elated. But he's in there at the moment, knowing the result of what is a very significant judgment. And you all know that previous cases that Harry has taken against the publishers of The Sun and News of the World, and also against the publishers of The Mirror, he's won in court. This one feels a lot bigger because of the other claimants involved as well. But anyone who's sat through the court case, and heard the claims from Harry and others, but also heard some vociferous denials from the publishers of the Daily Mail, well, they will know that this is really big. And as you mentioned earlier, this is the last case that he's taking on. Harry's always maintained his family have never taken on the press in the way that he has, because they've always just wanted to get favourable publicity from the tabloid newspapers, and that obviously is caused an element of friction, among many other things, between him and the rest of the royal family.
And Chris, this week wasn't meant to be about the hacking trial and family drama, was it?
This week was always going to be a pretty big one in any case. Even before last week, the judge says, hey, I'm going to choose Tuesday, the first day that Harry turns up in the UK, to make this judgment. This was meant to be about Harry visiting a number of his charities, and he was meant to bring, because he told us he was going to bring them, Meghan and the children. Then we had a whole situation with his security, that he was led to believe there's going to be a review. Turned out there wasn't a review. And then over the last day or so, we've had all the issues about there being nowhere for him to stay at Buckingham Palace. We do still think he's going to try and see his father, the king, at some point on this visit. He does hope to his children and their grandfather to see one another, but there's still a lot of it up in the air.
Chris Shipp, thank you very much. Thank you. The largest report into mother and baby homes, Magdalene laundries and workhouses in Northern Ireland has been published with the aim of preventing further trauma for the families involved. The panel found human rights abuses, degrading treatment and forced separation of families are recurring and frequent in evidence from survivors of the homes. An estimated 12,000 women, pregnant women and girls passed through the institutions, which were largely run by religious orders, thousands more than previously thought. Our Northern Ireland reporter Stuart Robson is in Belfast. Stuart, what can you tell us?
Well, indeed, this report has been described as the largest collection and the most comprehensive collection of lived experience testimony relating to these institutions. Institutions connected, of course, with forced adoption of children. Now, institutions that this report has found, indeed, that were discriminatory just by existing to mothers and their babies. In 2023, the devolved government here in Stormont appointed a 10-person panel to specifically look into how these mother and baby homes and Magdalene laundries operated. Now, these were organisations, of course, as I've just mentioned, that saw many young babies taken away from their mothers. Today, this report launched at this hotel just beside me here in Belfast found that there were systemic failures on the part of government for failing to have oversight over them. Now, its authors also found that this failure led to abuse, neglect and inadequate care for women and girls, and that's even affecting them even to this day.
They perpetuated stigma and shame for women and girls, which has continued for many of those women through their lives as well, and also for a number of the children, now adults, who were adopted.
Now, over the course of the last 3 years, when this report has been compiled, it has heard from nearly 300 victims and survivors. One of those is Paul McClary. Now, he actually also sat on the 10-person panel. He told me today that he was taken from his mother in South Belfast when he was just 18 days old and never got to meet her because she passed away. He says that the upcoming public inquiry that was confirmed just this week by the Stormont government must deliver very specific things.
We need truth and justice. We need the public inquiry to go to places that we couldn't go to because we didn't have the statutory footing to do that and the compulsion needed. I hope that the evidence that we've uncovered lays a good foundation. For me, the pursuit of justice is long, long overdue. It's been a lifetime in the making.
Now, a chairperson is yet to be appointed to that inquiry, something that the report authors actually told me today that they regretted. But when it does begin, of course, the victims will clearly be hoping that they get the answers that they feel they so dearly need.
Stuart Robson, thank you. Nigel Farage says he is giving a statement on his future in public life. In the next few minutes, the Reform UK leader is going to distribute a video update. Our political correspondent, Louisa James, is in Westminster. Louisa, what are we expecting?
Well, Nigel Farage is a man who knows how to create political theatre. He obviously wants this to be a surprise in a few minutes' time, because we've been unable to find out from anybody exactly what he is going to say. That hasn't stopped plenty of speculation, as you might imagine, that he might want to refute recent allegations against him, that he might call a by-election, even that he might resign, although one of his supporters told reporters in the last hour that he is going to be the next Prime Minister. But yes, the context here is that pressure has been mounting on Nigel Farage over high-value donations and gifts that he accepted and did not register. He's being investigated over a £5 million donation from a billionaire. Opposition parties also want him to be investigated over other high-value donations from another long-term ally. He has insisted that both of those were personal gifts, and therefore he did not need to declare them. So he's expected to potentially address that. But the other context here is that this is not going to be a press conference. Journalists are not allowed to attend, no opportunity to ask questions, and so that is only going to increase anger about a lack of scrutiny. We will keep you updated on this programme and also on our social media channels and on our website.
Louisa James, thank you very much. Still ahead, why 2 new tests could be a game changer for women with endometriosis. And a love story that started in the stands. Why this reunion 40 years on is an extra special one. First, a crushing defeat for one of the World Cup co-hosts overnight. The United States had been knocked out of the tournament following a 4-1 loss to Belgium in Seattle, which had been overshadowed by a controversial intervention by President Trump. Before the match, the US president directly called the FIFA president, Gianni Infantino, urging him to rescind US star striker Florin Balogun's red card suspension. After the call, FIFA allowed Balogun to play. This will no longer have to spend years trying to get a diagnosis, thanks to 2 new tests approved for use on the NHS. Experts say they will be game-changing in the way they cut the time it takes for women to be told whether they have the condition. Aisha Zahid has this report.
Absolutely incredible, and I'm so excited.
For so many years of uncertainty could end sooner. Aisha Zahid, ITV News.
New research from Citizens Advice has found that a quarter of homeowners have had issues with most recent repairs on their property. The charity also found that fixing previously botched work had cost homeowners an average of £750 to repair. Amelia Beckett has been to visit the home of a family in Leeds.
Well, you can see the state of the garden here. This is 2 years on from the builder first coming in. He was supposed to dig all of this out and excavate it to turn the cellar into a living space. But after a year, work stopped. He told the family here that he'd gone bankrupt, and he left this whole downstairs area structurally unsupported. It is a shocking situation. I'm joined now by Ryan, the homeowner. Thanks for having us. I mean, it must have been such a huge impact on you. Your wife was pregnant at the time, wasn't she?
Yeah. So we already had a 2-year-old, and then pregnant. The stress that caused somebody who's already going through so much, and then there's just no way out because we'd spent the money. Nobody wanted to take the work on, and it's understandable as to why. So you're just trapped in this situation. You haven't got more funds. And you've got the added pressure of another child on the way. So what are you supposed to do?
And I'm sure when you're thinking of a project this size, you look around, you try and find reviews, and it's not just something you take lightly.
No, and you've just got to kind of make a best guess in most cases and just take that leap and go on reputation. But sometimes you're rewarded and sometimes you're not, and we weren't initially, but we have since been. We've been rewarded with a lot of goodwill from people who've come to help. So it's so hard to know whether you're making the right decision or not, but you have to make a decision. But here we are.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm really glad it's on its way now, finally, to being sorted. Thanks for having us. But with that said, it's going to cost around another £30,000 to get all of this fixed. Anybody looking for home repairs at the moment is going to be shopping around for the best deal. We're in a cost of living crisis. But the issues here are so widespread. Citizens' Advice say in the last year they've had 37,000 complaints related to home repairs. So a really big problem, and you can hear just how huge the impact can be.
Amelia Beckett reporting there from Leeds. Large parts of England have been issued an amber heat health alert coming into force tomorrow morning. The alert will last until Sunday at 9 p.m. as a week-long heat wave is anticipated. Forecasts predict temperatures could reach as high as 34 degrees Celsius. During last month's record-breaking heat wave, 2/3 of people struggled to sleep, according to new polls. The warmer temperatures also cost people extra money and disrupted work, schooling, transport and even health appointments. Last month's temperatures reached 37.7 degrees Celsius. And finally, 40 years ago, a young woman caught a young man's eye at the Argentina versus England quarter-final of the World Cup. Oliver and Sophia were rival fans in the stands when they met in 1986, and despite supporting opposing teams, romance blossomed. The happy couple got married in 1990. Ashna Hurinag went to meet them as they went back to where it all began.
These star-crossed lovers met in 86. We married on
with my friends, and we were looking where to sit. And then I spotted a man smiling at me, and that was Oli.
What followed was a whirlwind English and Mexican romance between a young man abroad and a local football fanatic.
We used to write to each other. There was no internet, only telephone calls.
Letters and postcards in those days took about 2 months, 6 weeks to 2 months. It took ages.
Now, 40 years later, Sophia and Oliver got to relive their love story that started in the stands, donning their same attire, this time to witness a game with a very different ending. That made them both reminisce and revel in an England win.
Oh, it was incredible. The stadium is very iconic and it's monumental. And just going there, all the feelings came back, and I just started crying.
Going in there and sitting where we had sat before, it was just, I started crying as well. But although it was 40 years ago, it felt like yesterday.
Two once strangers returning to where it all began. The World Cup is known for uniting people, and now for creating lifelong bonds too. Ashna Horinag, ITV News.
Just before we go, Queen Camilla has joined local school children and writers to celebrate the beloved children's books Winnie the Pooh in a visit to the inspiration behind the 100-Acre Wood.
Winnie the Pooh is a universal hero. People love him and his friends all over the world.
Commemorations included visiting Pooh Sticks Bridge and a reading from Giles Brandreth. That's all from us for now. We'll have all the details and results of Prince Harry's case against the publisher of the Daily Mail on our website and social media throughout the day. Mary is here with the evening news at 7:45. The news where you are is next. From everyone on the Lunchtime team, have a lovely afternoon. Bye for now.